Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, were you expecting me to say more? Welcome back to Bookend Gaming. I'm Travis.
And I'm Erica.
We're doing that. Is that what we're doing?
That's right.
We're not doing that.
With a K. You have to pronounce the K.
Erica.
Or you don't get the vajay.
With an H at the end of it. Erica.
All right, we're getting our dinner.
Yeah.
Hanako gives a deep yawn, only just remembering to cover her mouth at the last second. God, so appalling.
My. Are you tired? I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm just going to leave you two alone.
I'm pretty tired, too, from my long nap.
You're right.
It was a long walk up here. It's getting late.
That was like 4 hours ago. If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night, Hisao. Good night.
Night. I'm just going to watch the news.
What a boring interaction.
On my futon. I skipped something.
Should have brought my Switch.
With that, they quietly return and walk back to their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. I wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. God.
Ugh.
Suppose I'll eat something and watch some TV. How horrible this is.
Best vacation ever.
Before going to bed. Tomorrow's going to be a better day, right?
God, what a boring first night.
Yeah. What an ass. How long did it take them to put their stuff in their room?
Right? Well, no, they cooked dinner and all that.
Well, okay.
Is he still sleeping?
I'm going to pretend to be.
I think so.
I'm not. I am, however, incredibly tired.
You're like dying. You're like sickly or something. It's getting late in the morning.
I know that.
He likely stayed up to watch television like a slob. I could hear it from our bedroom.
Girls Gone Wild.
Something called Emmanuel?
Only because I couldn't get to sleep.
Should we wake him?
Don't do that, Hanako. Please.
I've got a raging morning.
Yeah.
No, we should leave him. I doubt he'd want to be woken early if he didn't get much sleep during the night.
Thank you, Lilly.
Besides, he sounds so peaceful. It would be a shame to wake him when he's like this.
Keep a straight face, Hisao. It is nice she cares so much, though.
Hanako, could you go to the fridge and fish out what's needed to make lunch?
She's like pointing at his giant daughter, and Lilly has no idea.
I was thinking, like the blanket slowly rises. All right, just the vegetables and rice?
I think he's awake.
That should be enough. We only need something simple, as we can eat in town later.
Hanako's footsteps on the carpeted floor can be heard, moving away from the living room. As they do, I feel Lily's hand gently rest on my chest. It takes a titanic effort not to react, but something about her makes me think she knows I'm awake. I know you're fucking awake. A long silence passes. The only thought in my mind is that of a gentle, outstretched hand laying upon my chest. After an indiscernible amount of time, Lilly withdraws her hand.
Good morning, Hisao.
She knew from the increased heart rate. Conceding defeat all too easily, I prop myself up and rub my eyes. How'd you know? The reason I just said.
Your breathing was off.
Well, that makes sense. She couldn't have needed that long to work it out. Knowing her hearing, she likely knew before laying her hand on me.
If you want to sleep more, you should really go to bed earlier. I heard the television going long into the night. It helps me sleep.
I was going to say, what if I just fall asleep with it on?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. My medications have been interfering with my sleep for a while now. Even if I'm tired, I have trouble actually sleeping.
I mean, I feel like you sleep a lot, though. I'm sorry for bringing it up, Hisao.
I sigh. Oh, no.
Oh, God, I gotta get my phone out.
This is exactly the kind of thing I wish others wouldn't do. Well, I'm going to say that waving her off is probably not the good option.
You don't know.
I'm gonna address it, whether you
Okay.
like it or not.
Well, go ahead. No, wait. Just wait.
Address it.
Just wait.
Address it.
Yes, address it.
We were already a bitch to her at the train station. We have to be nice to her now. Come on, you worry about me more than I do at times. It just means I have to sleep a bit longer. That's all.
But still.
I'd say that I look absolutely fine, but I guess that wouldn't mean anything for you. She gives a sigh of consternation before trailing off with an amused chuckle, giving up the point.
If you say so, please do take care of yourself, Hisao.
Go on, Hanako could use some help.
Leave me alone.
She moves to protest, but reluctantly acquiesces and disappears into the kitchen, her hand running along the smooth white walls as she slowly walks.
Oh, gosh, she's getting grease all over the place.
For a while, I sit and watch television in an attempt to wake myself a little more, but it's futile. I don't have anything better to do, so I follow Lily's lead. As I round the corner, I see Hanako and Lilly, backs turned, quietly cutting food on the granite-colored counter. I am temporarily engrossed as I watch Lilly guiding the knife down carefully with a finger on the cabbage she's cutting, each slice delivered slowly but with precision. Did they go to the store?
Paper towels are
I know,
stressing
I was gonna
me
say
out.
That too. I was going to say
Why would you leave it
driving me
out like
nuts.
that?
She seems a little slow, but considering that she can't see what she's doing, it's a small wonder she can cook at all, let alone for both her and Hanako. Hi, Hanako. Lilly, want any help?
Afterthought, Lilly. Is that Hisao? Ah! Oh, morning, Hisao.
I'm going to cut her finger off. Lilly jerks back in surprise before turning around, her yelp immediately drawing Hanako and me to her side.
Stick it in your mouth.
What's... Ah! Oh, she did cut her... You dick! A small trickle of scarlet falls downward from her pale fingertip, the knife having cut just deep enough to draw blood. With the television sound masking my footsteps, she must not have noticed me coming. To compensate for having to use touch to guide everything she does during cooking, she must need to pay extra attention.
Lilly! Don't worry, Hanako. It's just a small wound.
You should still get a Band-Aid on it, at least until it stops bleeding. I don't want you bleeding all over my food. First aid stuff would be in the bathroom, right?
I think so. Will you be okay here, Hanako?
She passes out from blood. I frown at how little heed she's paying to herself as Hanako gives a quick, almost automatic nod.
It's fine. I can keep making lunch.
An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and box of Band-Aids on the side of the sink, Lily's finger held out for me to treat. The lid of the bottle comes off with a minimum of resistance, and the small ball of cotton I soak in the liquid stains a pale green. I think this medicine's stale. Okay, hold still. This'll probably hurt a bit. She gives a small nod as I take hold of her hand to steady it. With all the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad to the small red line.
Give her my dampened wad. Ah!
What? I barely touched it, you wuss.
Sorry.
I give a sigh, both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her pain tolerance is startlingly low.
Well, forget the BDSM then.
I would tell you to man up, but I can't really do that. I mean, I could.
Yeah.
But I won't.
Just an expression.
As she gives a small giggle, I take advantage of her momentary distraction and gently press the cotton against her finger a few times. Thankfully, it's enough to do the job. I win. Haha. We both settle somewhat as I bring the Band-Aid over the tip of her finger, covering the wound while making sure not to get it stuck to her fingernail. There, finished. You can move now.
Get out.
My reading finger, you dick! Taking her hand from mine, she gently clasps it in the other.
Thank you.
It's no problem. It's the least I can do after causing you to hurt yourself, after all. She lowers her head slightly at the apology, absent-mindedly rubbing her hand in what seems to be embarrassment.
I really don't mind.
Her answer doesn't seem to make much sense, given that what happened is pretty clearly my fault. I can't help grimacing at her, despite the fact that her dainty smile still holds. She must not like being reminded of the limitations her lack of sight impose on her. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to the same kind of feelings before. All the time, in fact.
Yeah, every episode.
Yeah, despite my condition not being nearly as ubiquitous in my life. Neither of us any the happier. We head back to the various smells of cooking food coming from the kitchen. It's on fire!
Oh, God.
I lay out the plates of food, steam slowly rising from the well-cooked rice and curry dishes, while Hanako lays out the cutlery. Knife one side, fork on the other. Western. Gross. How perfectly fitting for someone like Lilly.
Where are the chopsticks?
As we take our seats, taking careful heed of the dark red tablecloth hanging below our knees, Lilly emerges from the kitchen. In her hands are 3 glasses and a bottle of wine!
Ayo!
Breakfast! As I recall our previous run-in with that devilish elixir, I hide my face in my palm. Alcohol? Seriously?
God, you freaking lush.
She pauses as she reaches the table, a playful grin perched on her face. I don't even like you alcoholic.
Akira specifically gave permission to take a bottle from her collection.
Not only does she give alcohol to minors, she even lets them pilfer their own. The perfect model of a responsible adult, Akira is not.
She's pretty cool, I would say.
More to the point, though, is that this is hardly a meal deserving of alcohol. I'm starting to think Lily's the type to easily become hooked on things. That's not really the problem. I don't really have any qualms with it, but didn't you have a bad experience with it last time?
How are we ever going to do cocaine if you get hooked on it? Last time was likely due to drinking too much, so a single glass shouldn't prove a problem.
Be more controlling, why don't you?
Think of it as a learning experience.
I can't recall many learning experiences that made me feel rotten before putting me to sleep, but I'll take your word for it.
You haven't had sex, obviously.
She dips an uninjured finger inside to feel the liquid level. Tip against the bottom as the liquid rises up. The white of her finger almost seems to glow as the sunlight hits it, the delicate outline blurred and refracted by the glass. Her fingers are definitely longer than mine, the kind I'd think more suited to a pianist than a teacher.
Pianist.
She'd likely have done well if she'd learned how to play. I have that thought for some reason. We quickly dig into our meal, forks and knives clattering against plates. That's like saying that all tall people would be good at basketball.
They would be.
Sure. None of us are particularly eager to speak while eating. Lily altogether too reserved for such a thing. Hanako probably too shy to start a conversation, and I too busy savoring the food. Such a pedestrian activity, eating together at a table. Seems so utterly normal, yet it makes me realize how long it's been since I've done something like this. Just the 3 of us.
We can make it if we try.
Sitting around a single table eating as if we were a malformed family.
That's not how it goes.
Hanako, you be the daughter. Maybe this trip, as far away from everything as we are, was worth it. It takes quite a long time, but eventually we all finish our surprisingly filling meal. The wine, thankfully, has little effect given we've only had a glass or 2 or 3 each. I slump back into the seat, rubbing my stomach contentedly. I'm stuffed. Lily pats her mouth with a napkin, twice, only twice, and with evenly timed intervals in between, I counted. It's hard to tell sometimes whether how she acts is a well-trained routine or a well-rehearsed act.
She's a sociopath.
She's a robot.
I think I must...
She's a sociopathic robot.
A worst kind! I think I must be as well. Did you like it, Hanako? It was nice. Now that we're off well fed, shall we be off?
Off? Where? Who?
You weren't privy to the discussion between Hanako and me earlier.
No, you're talking behind my back? I get the impression that she's having a subtle dig at my sleeping in.
We'll be going to town nearby.
I guess I should have expected 2 girls to take a holiday as an excuse to go shopping. No matter where on the planet they may be.
Yeah, gross. We should just sit around and watch TV.
Fall asleep some more.
Yeah.
I am interested to see more around the north, though, so this can only be a good thing. Sounds good. How long's the walk in, then?
It's supposed to be around a mile to
Oh
a
my
mile and a
God.
half. Pass.
Nearby, huh? Great. Just great. I'm gonna be a dick again.
Yeah. Well, it could kill you.
As we climb up the path surrounded by trees and undergrowth, I watch Lily and Hanako walking ahead. I'm sure you do. Slight breeze all but whisks away the sound of Lily's cane gently tapping away on the ground. I notice that Lily's since removed the band-aid now that the bleeding of her finger has stopped. I mean, that's pretty quick to do so, but alright. A deep lung-filling breath of the fresh country air makes me wish all the harder that the air around home had been quite so clean. It can't have been half a mile, but I'm already working up a sweat. It isn't a pleasantly cool day, though, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself for it. Hey Lily, how well do you know this town anyway?
As well as any blind person. Since I spent quite a few of my vacations here up until I entered Yamaku, I'd say I know it fairly well. We used to drive there once a weekend then.
I get around. How I wish Akira was here to drive us now. Yeah, after drinking. I quickly take a moment to rub my hands a couple of times, staving off the oddly cold feeling in them. Did you like it up there, here, wherever?
I'd say it was nice during winter, but as you can work out, summers get a little too hot for comfort. It's nice and quiet, at least. My family's real house is quite far south. When they left Japan, my parents gave it to Akira and me. Only Akira lives there now, after my moving to into Yamaku.
That's awesome. Well, quiet certainly describes this place. Though lonely is how I'd put it.
Boo, sad.
Other than the prophesied small town, there isn't another soul for miles around. Coming from a home nestled deep within the big city, it's certainly different. I think that if I'd not come to Yamaku, staying out in the country like this would be too much of a change to get used to. After getting accustomed to the school's isolation, though, the idea of living in a place such as this has become almost inviting, to be somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of the metropolitan centers.
Well, that's an episode.
Cool. We haven't had sex yet.
I feel like for a vacation, there's not much vacation going on.
Well, that's what we're doing now. We're going into town.
I guess, but...
I mean, he slept through half of it.
That's true. Seriously, like one more day maybe it's 2 days after you get there. I don't know.
Yeah,
when I say a 2-day
true.
vacation, I always think it's the day you get there and then the next day you have to leave.
Something's going to happen tonight.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.